Hi, everyone. I'm Jose from Delphi. We're a research firm in the space. We have a venture fund and a labs arm, too. So today we're going to be talking about DeFi with the DeFi French cartel. Yeah. Do we want to go around to the table with some introductions first? Or, yeah, maybe just quick intros for everyone.
Yeah, sure. Mounir, founder at ParaSwap and Laita Labs. I've been in the space for a few years.
Julien, Bouteloup, runs Tech Capital. We do early stage investment, also build to a venture studio, and I've been in space for quite some time.
And I'm the last one, so Adrian, Zdeadex. I created like a stake lab, a staking company, and a Junction, which is just a simple way to make DeFi and exchange tokens on chain.
Nice. So I'm curious, for everyone here, maybe to start, what do you guys all see as DeFi's killer app now? And maybe starting, what is DeFi for and what's its killer app? And has that changed for you over the years since you started building?
Well, I think early days, everything used to be purely on-chain. Maybe it was a good approach at that time. Gas prices were very low. But I think it was also a naive approach because the target audience was the DeFi community. And we tend to put everything we can in a decentralized fashion, which wasn't as decentralized as we wanted to be. But now as DeFi grew and we went from a small niche to something that even heads of state are talking about, even launching their own projects, I think we are now getting closer to building something that everyone could use and have this fintech type of experience while still maintaining some good level of decentralization. So I think DeFi has evolved over time, and I think we are still going to see more and more involvement where people won't even know that they are using a DeFi infrastructure. I think this is the future, in my opinion.
Well, I think the promise of DeFi, decentralized finance, is to focus on permissionless infrastructure, making sure people from not having access to traditional financial products or tools, they can actually do it and have access to DeFi. Cross-border payments, no borders, basically, and having access to sophisticated tools that normally they will never have access in traditional finance. So, and here the market has been more mature, evolving pretty fast. And we have been able to replicate pretty much everything from traditional financial aspects. And now we're moving into a new type of era where new kind of technology will allow new type of products. Zero knowledge proof, icon abstraction, smart accounts, and other different things. Yeah.
I think on my side, personally, on my experience, it was mostly ecosystem by ecosystem. So there was one killer app by ecosystem. We know on Ethereum, sorry, ParaSwap, but it was Uniswap. On Carpio, there is Osmosis, for example. There is Jupiter taking the kind of most of the Solana one. But I guess when we just grow in 2025, it's getting more and more how do you solve this connection between them? Because there is no single app. Right now, it's a big mess. There is plenty of people that try to solve this problem because you start with a niche, so your ecosystem, let's say, and then you want to onboard others because once you have the full people from ecosystem, you want to grab the other one. So I guess it's still complicated to have a single killer application right now. But there is for the moment, I guess one big per ecosystem. Potentially looking at what's gonna be changing during this year or next year.
I think we can also say stablecoins reach some kind of critical mass in terms of adoption. So maybe this is closer to what we can call a killer app.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I'm curious, you guys are all multi-cycle veterans. From 2020, if we put you in a time machine back in 2020 and we showed you what DeFi is like now, what crypto is like now, what are the things that you'd be most positively surprised about and also most disappointed in? So if you saw the current state of DeFi, when we were just starting in 2020 with the food farms and everything, what would be, what would you be really happy about, and what would you be pretty disappointed and jaded about?
Well, at that time, we were hoping that the farming and the food stuff were just temporary. But maybe that also was a naive thinking from the DeFi community, and because it's a financial system, it's a still emergent one. So we went from farming to NFTs to meme coins, now to AI coins. And I think this kind of speculative type of use of the space will continue as we saw in other like ecosystems, like among them like the startups in the late 90s. So yeah, we were hoping that this is gonna end. We will be focusing only on tech, and to our maybe disappointment that we are still maybe in this kind of speculative bubble. But what I'm still happy about is we reached really a good advancement in terms of technology. In 2020, layer 2s were still an idea. I mean, people are saying we will have layer 2s, and now it's like the normal place to be for apps to launch. Many of them, they just launch directly on layer 2s, which is, I think, a big progress we've made so far.
Well, I think we kind of underestimate the accomplishment of this ecosystem because, of course, we still have the echo chamber of the people involved in the technology and talking about EIP numbers and etc. But if you look at the broader picture, you have massive traditional companies that are now not scared of mentioning crypto adoptions, buying Bitcoin, storing into some fund, yielding, providing that type of instrument to users. So this is actually a massive success. Worldwide, if you mention crypto or blockchain, you're not being like criticized or laugh. You know, it's now among one of the best technology out there with AI. So it's actually a big success, and meaning that the technology has been proven that is something useful and can be used by big institutions. And now you have like some of the biggest names, BlackRock, Fidelity, and etc. that position that narrative first among other type of assets. You have like ETF and etc. So I believe, of course, like the technology is something that enable those type of narrative, but on a broader aspect, and now the entire world is talking about blockchain and crypto, which is, I think, a massive success. So we have achieved it in terms of being able to provide useful features and products and tools to serve society. And now on the technological aspect, of course, scalability, transparency, anonymity, and those different things still need to progress. But yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, that's true. I guess like if we could like be like in 2020 with like this version of like what's today, we will avoid potentially like UST first. It will be like a good thing. But I mean like it's all about like I guess like the standards, because when we started like to create like DeFi like in 2020, we weren't like thinking about like how we gonna just like put the standard like for something that's gonna work like into like a multi-chain ecosystem, or even just like one ecosystem but using like layer 2s, etc. So I guess like there was like potentially like 1 or 2 years that could be like avoided of just like recreating like these standards and go like I guess like faster on the development. And the second thing I guess is all about like the liquidity, because we didn't put, I guess, like much time and resources like on improving and trying to find a way to put more liquidity like in DeFi protocols. If you look at the bear market, this was like literally the problem. There was like no more liquidity because everything was like in crypto, and there was like no real resources to put I would say like stable coins. Like I guess like Circle is not like part of the growth that we have like right now, but still it was like a bit late, and it's just like getting started. So we are back on track.
Yeah, thanks for that. One thing that comes to mind for me as well is that when we started in DeFi in 2020, you guys were all here, a lot of the focus was decentralization and putting everything on chain, right? All the breakthroughs in design like Uniswap, XYK, the utilization curve for Aave, all of it was about how can we make this like run fully on chain, then we just have front ends to access it, but we have like very little off-chain portions of it. And when you look at DeFi today, whether it's like the way spot trading works with solvers, where you're basically trading with market makers and centralized exchanges, whether it's stable coins like USDC and USDT are the biggest, and then Athena's come onto the scene. It's also not fully decentralized, or even like the hyperliquids of this world with sort of 4 validators and closed source code. Do you think we've strayed too far from God, or is this just what it takes to make this stuff mainstream?
I think we can see an evolution because at some point we were fully on-chain. We went from like hybrid systems where we put more off-chain in centralized servers like AWS of the world. And now as we mature, we see more technology emerging, like the TEE systems that we can see more and more adoption that can slowly replace backend services. It takes some time because the thing is when running a system off-chain, we get the benefit of performance because just a click away in a few milliseconds sometimes we can get the job done, while running on a decentralized system, well, first of all, it may cost some gas. If not, we are putting a lot of trust on a third party. So I think TEs are kind of a good trade-off so far. They're not super decentralized as putting stuff like on an Ethereum blockchain, but are not as centralized as using an AWS server.
It's a couple of different things. First, the market became pretty big, but reached maximum capacity in terms of attraction of more capital. So in order for projects to tap into liquidity, grow TVL, by order of magnitude, a couple of order of magnitude, you have way more capital in traditional finance. I mean, decentralized finance, we all praise it, but it's super small compared to traditional financial capital. So you need to tap into that market. And of course, like big DeFi projects, if they want to continue growth, they have to open the door of the devil, you know, and get into it. And also, it was not possible before because of regulations. So the uncertainty of integrating or working with institutions. This is, of course, like a massive risk for DeFi projects. Originally, remember, guys, the concept of DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. So this was supposed to provide legal framework for a DeFi project to completely operate and not necessarily have a legal aspect. Well, now with regulations, market is becoming more clear, so you can actually integrate. And I think a good example is Ethena. So you can tap into massive amount of liquidity. So on a DeFi, as a like a venture capitalist type of way of behavior, of course you have to go to that market. And the narrative of being fully decentralized and not and being against CeFi is becoming less and less obvious. So you have now the. I think the DeFi was claiming to replace TradFi, and myself over the past few years I've been saying that actually TradFi will be the one adopting way more DeFi. So we might actually see TradFi getting way stronger because of adopting tools and products of DeFi, and this is already happening. Yeah.
Like World Liberty Financial, or what are some examples you can think of?
Well, basically, for example, like you could see on asset securitizations, asset management, custodial solutions, using account abstraction, secure enclave, all those different things. So basically a bank, I think in the future, they will be allowed to manipulate, provide yield for your assets, but never be fully in control of your assets. I think that we're moving towards that aspect. So be able to borrow a certain limit of capital, provide liquidity across different markets, but you still have fully ownership of your capital. So securitization of asset management, but also like cross-border payments, and all those different things are using now. They're starting to, for example, multi-collateral party from banks. If you want to transfer $200 million US, it will probably take you like a couple of months. Few legal entities. It's a tough process, a painful process. Well, here, if you use actually DeFi, for example, what Societe Generale has been doing, they were able to do so in a couple of seconds. So save them a lot of money, save them a lot of hassle. They can increase their market. They can increase market shares. I mean, they can tap into new market shares. So I believe all those institutions, they will grow their market and save on the cost. And they will be able to compete dramatically with DeFi project. If you look at Wise, if you look at other companies like Coinbase, they are now becoming more and more a centralized entity, and they are providing those tools. You can actually go to Wise and get 5% yield, or you can go to other company and get massive yield. Why would you use DeFi? So now they are starting to compete with our own products. which is interesting. But we let them do it. We provide them the tool for doing this.
Yeah, I mean, we are very far like from having like see everything, I guess. So yeah, no, I mean, it's good that they have like different solutions like for that, because obviously like we're creating a lot of tools, but generally like it's very degens, I would say. Like it's financially like for us, but most of them are just like not creating like gap, I guess, like for like the banks. Like right now there is like no banks that just like provide like staking. They don't like provide like some earnings like we are with Aave or something like that. I guess like we are far from just like having a real adoption. And basically I guess like we didn't like see everything. Like we, as you mentioned, like there is like still things that happening like at 100, close to 100 soon, billion valuation. Things with like closed source code. It's still like people experimenting, I guess. But it's fine. We have to create this gap. It's not like made, and I guess there is like plenty of resources like still to be breached. As mentioned, like the banks. I think like there is Bridge actually that does it, trying like to convert like this pass to exchange easily like fiat to crypto. But still, it's like one solution. It's not like potentially the best because the costs are like still pretty expensive, like on the cross-border one. I mean, we're still like far, I guess, like from solving like all these problems. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, on that note, we've had this dream for a while that you'd just be able to live on DeFi rails, right? Like you'd have all your assets on there, you'd have real world assets on there if you wanted exposure to stocks or whatever. And then the other crucial part, which arguably we've made less progress on, is spending, right? Like two things you want to do with your money, either save it, deferred spending, or spend it. And there's still not that many ways to spend or to pay with crypto. Do you think this is the cycle that changes? There's obviously a lot of cool stuff happening with Gnosis Pay. There's cool stuff happening on Solana. Do you think, yeah, this is the cycle where crypto payments finally take off and you're able to sort of live fully on chain? Or do you think that'll never happen?
Well, definitely not. Never happen. It will happen. And as you said, we have already some mature product like Gnosis. And I heard in the previous panel from the Wallet Connect founder that they are working on a recurrent payment solution, which I think was one of the biggest missing pieces, and that we have actually in our company, where when we pay in crypto, it's always a very manual process where we have to go each end of the month to trigger payments if we don't want to give away full control of our wallet to a third party, which obviously something we won't do. So I think it's a need, and as the ecosystem grows and as more adoption we can see outside of crypto, because since this is something normal outside of crypto, I think it's coming very soon, and we already seeing it happening.
Or you can take it before if you want. No, I mean like there is plenty of cards. I mean, you can use like the one like from CX. The only thing you have to remember is obviously declare them because you're gonna have to pay your taxes. Potentially not with the Gnosis Pay one, but there is plenty of good solution. Actually, I don't know if you know, like there is something called like RIP Global, and they do like kind of thing with like fire blocks that allow you like to spend like. It's basically stablecoin, so it's still pretty early. It's not like you can spend like ETH, Bitcoin, like from any ecosystem. Don't care, chain abstract everything. You just like deposit your asset and you swap them into like the currency that you are just like paying with your card. So I think there is tons of like improvements still to be made, but that's a first gap. So if you want. There is already like solution that does it. Like, no, this one is pretty good. You have like a good cashback. I guess it's like 5% or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, there are solutions.
I think the European market provide quite sufficient amount of those type of payment solutions. DeFi also going to release one. But if you look at the big companies, Revolut, TransferWise, I think there was an acquisition a couple months ago of one of the biggest. One of the stable company to provide cross-border payments and also payments in crypto. So they are coming. And in Europe, I think if you live in Europe, you have many different solutions, different service provider for you to pay in crypto. And I think regardless if it's on-chain or not on-chain, I think you still need to pay taxes. Yeah, I think you have many different solutions.
Yeah, and I'm curious. what's your most what's the innovation that happened this cycle that you're most bullish on or excited about in DeFi? Like, is there something specific that comes to mind?
Maybe it sounds cliche, but I still think AI is a good thing. That's even though we are in a bubble, but there are more and more use cases that we see that can be fulfilled very well by AI, since it's more like down to earth and more concrete.
Is there a specific project that you're?
For instance, in our case, we have an intent network that we call Porticus, and on top it's built ParaSwap Delta. And behind the scenes, we have what people call solvers. We call them agents. Basically, I think the future of market making on-chain and solving on-chain can be a job that will be very well offloaded to AI agents, because if you think about it, what solvers are doing, they are building algorithms and sourcing data from the blockchain. Like in our case, they are looking into dexes and liquidity on dexes and trying to gather all this data and find the best combination to provide the best possible price. And it's an ongoing and a very manual process. And if you put a machine that can naturally build up this liquidity and decompose the algorithms on the dexes and put them in an in-memory database and build algorithms and adopt the algorithms on the fly, I think it can do a much better job than humans are doing right now.
Isn't that already kind of dominated by bots? Anyway, or algorithms? What is an agent specifically?
I would say the difference is more adaptability, because right now, let's say if you want to adopt the last 3-4 new dexes or new liquidity, custom liquidity pools that were launched on Curve or you name it, you need to do that job manually. You need to go through those algorithms and understand the math behind each dex and try to rebuild that logic off-chain. That's in order to have a performance way for sourcing that liquidity. That's done manually, unfortunately. Right now, it's very, very hard to generalize. And I think being able to learn this logic on the fly and translate it into code that can be efficient and do that in a fraction of a second, I think it's very hard for humans to do, and machines can do that very well.
Okay. What about you, Julien? What's your most exciting?
We're doing, of course, like market making and providing also solvers to the ecosystem. I think it's a good point from Mounir. Being able to understand, gather a knowledge base across different universe, across different dexes. It's a lot of computation. It's a lot of manual work. Requires big team. So with AI, you can actually speed up the process. And at the end of the day, you will have agents competing with each other and providing the best. So we're moving into pretty much almost equality of efficiency. So almost like the spread near zero, basically. And that's the goal of those agents, so they can compete with each other by achieving that target. The interconnections between AI and blockchain is fascinating. So myself and a couple of different friends and funds that I know, they've been investing pretty big on AI. Of course, it's quite it's very noisy. So I would say
traditional AI or in crypto AI.
I think it's well. The thing is, if you really want, it's like gaming. I see like gaming. You know, if you really want to invest in a gaming project, invest in gamers. You know, that they will leverage blockchain technology if they find a need for that technology to solve some of their problems. And I see the AI the same. Invest in an AI team, and then they might actually find useful to use a token or to use the technology of blockchain because they have some existing problem. And this is what we've been doing. So it's getting more and more connected. I mean, not only AI, but for example, like quantum computing, at some point with encryption level, you will also have connection of blockchain or tokens and AI at the same time. So all those frontier technologies are all becoming more and more capable of talking to each other. And now that you have agents that can pass information between those different systems, that's what I think the market will evolve. So now we're seeing AI gaming or AI in different verticals, and they all like trying to leverage tokens and blockchain at the same time. But yeah, my part, we also like really close to ZK, of course, FHE, all those different type of technology that are capable of scaling existing infrastructure, but also providing new type of products on top of existing infrastructure, which for me is kind of like a new space, because so far we've been building products kind of a replication of what we've seen in the past in traditional finance. But now that we have new type of technology that we don't necessarily yet understand the capabilities, we'll be able to build complete new ideas. And this is what we are entering. For a long time, we were not able to provide new type of innovative ideas or actually products that can solve problems. But this is what we're actually entering. I think that this year and next year will be like years where, especially also with the US unlocking the door for removing the regulations, will be like seeing tremendous amount of innovative ideas that are leveraging those type of technologies.
Well, for me, like I don't think like AI is DeFi at all, but that's my opinion. I think like solvers is one thing, but I don't really like these models because I think like it's getting value like for the market makers personally and not like really for the users. So I'm a multi-chain maxi, not a solver maxi. So I guess like on these new years that are like coming, there are gonna be like new solutions that are gonna come that gonna put the users like in front, getting like the yield that he needs, and we need to improve like this part of the DeFi. So by the like it wasn't possible like few years ago because the liquidity wasn't like very like well like spread, I guess. And now that we have like entities like Circle that are like putting like a lot of liquidity on the whole ecosystem, if you check like in a year, like in Noble for example, in the Cosmos ecosystem, they printed like around like 600 million or something like that, which is like very impressive in a single year. And I guess it's gonna it's just the start. Like it's gonna be like this on all ecosystem, and even like billion and billion and billion. So now I think like if we want like something that works as a solver, so acting very quickly to make like exchanges and improve the DeFi, because as a users, for you it's very complex. You're gonna have like potentially 6 or 10 or I don't know, like potentially 100 DeFi protocol. Which one you're gonna use? You potentially don't know about them. It's gonna be very difficult for you to put your asset on it because you're gonna use tons of application, very complex, right? So you need to solve that. And I guess like with Junction, this is what we are like aiming to do like for these 2 years is solving the fragmented liquidity, abstracting the chains and getting you like the best yield in a place.
Interesting. Yeah, I like your point about AI. I mean, my mental model is that humans in the future won't use the internet or use the chain. You know, it'll just be agents using both and as intermediaries for humans like intents, and agents as kind of like solvers for human intents. So I guess that affects Junction too, right? If it ends up being but yeah, sorry, Julien, do you want to say something on that? No, you picked up.
Actually, maybe the AI agents are the one that will be providing the solution from the UX perspective of the blockchain aspect. Yeah. We've been talking about UX and blockchain and crypto being tough to use, but now maybe the AI agent added the use case to provide that US aspect, UX, user. Yeah, so I think it's kind of like interesting because now we're saying agent of agents providing, you can actually now see an entire team or company that is working for you, and all this entire company being only agents. An agent that is specialized for personal assistant, an agent that is specialized for your finance, an agent that is specialized for these type of things, and then they're all working for you. So at the end of the day, what do you want to use user interface with UI and front end on internet? If this agent can do it for you, if you just want to swap a couple of different assets, or if you want to provide yield, you don't even need to understand the tools, understand the different ecosystem, and understand the different names of the blockchains. And this is where we're moving to the layer above, like exactly what happened with internet, you know. Before it was like DARPA and all these different names, moving to a more like HTTP level where people don't need to understand the different protocols like SMTP or different things. Well, it's exactly the same happening right now. You can talk to ChatGPT and request information or request things to do. So what's the next step? Like request those different agents to provide useful services for yourself. So I think we're moving not into hiring people and for special skills, but more hiring computational power to execute special skills on your behalf. It's a complete shift in society.
I would just say like it's speculation, and that's why like it's very evaluated, because we don't know the result, and that's why like people are like heavily like invested in it, because when you don't know the result, at least you can just like speculate on it, and that's why like it's working pretty well. Well, I mean like it's gonna work potentially, but as we still don't get the result, I would say like it's a bit of a vaporwave.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, we're on the last minute, I think, that we have. So maybe to end, what's your most contrarian, spiciest take for something that's going to happen next cycle? It can be negative or like, you know, something that you think is overrated now that's actually going to decline in importance, or it can be something that doesn't exist now or is starting now that you think is going to sort of increase in importance. But yeah, let's try and make it as spicy as we can. Who wants to start?
I can start. Like I literally passed like 1 minute shitting on the AI, so I can continue if you want. No, I mean like I think it's like too much valuated. It's just like because like it's too easy like to speculate on it. Like it's too easy to get money and extracting it as well. Like that's why like people are just like doing it more and more and more. I mean it's basically the same as like meme coins. People were just like doing it because there was like a market. It was like very stable. Like there was like nothing happening, so people just like created memes and say like, oh okay, like we can extract value from it, so let's fucking do it. I guess like on the AI it's better because there is actually like a technology behind it and something that we will obviously do few things. But it was funny, like I saw like a guy that ordered like something like in McDonald's using like an AI agent. It's cool, but actually it passed like more time to order than just like using like a Uber or something like that. So I guess like it's just like the start. It's cool. We see like some innovation, but let's see the future and what it's gonna do. But I'm pretty scared about like the privacy stuff.
I think it will flip BTC.
Damn.
Maybe not the next cycle, maybe the other one. I don't know. But the thing is, I think Bitcoin is backed mostly by belief, but not really by strong fundamentals. It has the best hash power in the biggest decentralized network. Okay, fine, but that's backed also by the belief that people has in the chain, while Ethereum has a real technology, a lot of use cases, a lot of dApps, AI agents, you name it, which I think it's, at least in my opinion, maybe on my hope, it's a matter of time, a matter of one or few cycles for this to happen.
Do you think Seoul flips ETH at some point?
Who knows?
I will go to maybe there will be a new asset class, a new token that will be flipping ETH and BTC. Complete new type of assets. No. Not even something that is currently in the table. That could come from
next cycle.
What this guy doesn't like, but the AI primitive, you know, potentially. I'm not saying this will happen, but this is a take, right? And the second one, what I've been kind of asking myself is the NFT. Because the cost of acquisition, the cost of being able to design NFT before was pretty high, but now with AI, it's really low. So I wonder if the NFT cycle will come back, because now building design and those type of FPG or whatever, it's now available for everyone.
Wouldn't that dilute the value a lot of them, or would you still have?
It's only if you have a community and you unlock features. But I wonder. Before it was a new type of CryptoPunks, and they all looking good because you had to hire pretty expensive agency. Now in just one click with Midjourney, you can create them. So the take is like, will we ever see a cycle for NFTs, or it's gone forever? Not sure.
Yeah, particularly in the generative art, because it's basically like you are coding and it generates like an art with like a plotter or something. So I guess like people will be able like to extract like quick like some value from it, I guess.
Very cool. All right. So ETH's going to flip Bitcoin. Something new is going to flip both ETH and Bitcoin. And NFTs are coming back. And yours was AI is a scam. Nice. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.